In just a few days, I'll be heading out on an off-grid camping trip. No electricity, no outlets, no stores, no food, no drinking water. Everything I'll need has to come with me, including power. One of the biggest questions is how I'll keep all of my gear running for 6 nights off-grid. So, before the trip, I decided to start testing a few things. Let's see what we've got. Pretty compact, solid build, and hopefully powerful enough for what's ahead. Because this is what I'll be relying on during the trip. A drone, cameras, a phone, lights, batteries, and all the little things that somehow always need charging. In a few days, this will be responsible for keeping all of it running, not for a weekend, for 6 nights off-grid. Now it's time for the first test. The power station arrived with 30% battery remaining. So, I set up the solar panel and let the Florida sun do the work. 30 minutes later, the battery had gained 7%. Not bad. If those numbers stay consistent, a full charge from 30% to 100% should take about 5 hours of good sunlight. Before this trip, I had one big question. Could one fully charged power station get me through 6 nights of off-grid camping? Originally, I planned to bring the solar panel, but when you're carrying everything on your back, every pound matters. So I decided to leave it at home. This became a real-world test of the power station alone. I started the trip with 100% battery. The biggest challenge turned out to be my GoPro. I filmed almost everything in high resolution, so I went through batteries much faster than I expected. At first, I tried charging 2 batteries at the same time using my dual charger, just like I do at home. That turned out to be a mistake. It used much more power and the batteries charged very slowly, so I changed my strategy. Instead, I charged 1 battery at a time directly through the camera. I kept the camera turned off while charging to prevent it from overheating. That worked much better. Each battery only used about 2 to 3% of the power station. I also recharged all 3 batteries for my Panasonic FZ3001s during the trip. Since I mainly used the camera for long zoom shots and a few special moments, 1 recharge was enough. I never needed to charge my drone because drones aren't allowed in this part of Cumberland Island. My phone used very little power because there was almost no cell service, so I kept it in airplane mode for most of the trip. My headlamps lasted the entire trip on a single charge, so they never needed to be recharged. After 6 nights off-grid, I still had 51% battery remaining. Honestly, that surprised me. Originally, I expected this power station to support both of us for the entire trip. Instead, my mom mostly relied on her own small power bank. It kept her phone and 1 GoPro battery running for the first 4 nights. I only needed to recharge her gear during the final 2 nights. Based on how much power we actually used, I think that if both of us had relied on this 1 power station for the entire trip, it probably would have finished with around 20% battery remaining. That was much better than I expected. One thing I learned is that your power needs to depend entirely on how you travel. If you're carrying just 1 phone and maybe a GoPro, 1 or 2 good power banks may be all you need. But my situation is different. I'm out there to create videos. I spend long days filming in high resolution, and that requires a lot more power than a typical backpacking trip. For the way I travel and film, a power station makes a lot more sense. For me, it turned out to be a great balance between capacity, size, and weight. Yes, you still have to carry the extra weight, But for 6 nights of filming off-grid, it was absolutely worth it. Would I bring it again? Absolutely. For backpacking, I'd still leave the solar panel at home to save weight and carry only the power station. But for kayaking or car camping, I definitely bring both. After this trip, I know exactly what I'll be packing next time. Stories hide in unexpected places. Until we meet again on uncharted paths.